going on, everyone? Welcome to Spill Your Sauce, episode 5, the music show by producers for producers. We have 1 hour today where we'll get to know our guests, get them watch them download some samples, cook up. We get to them to open up some project files, see what they're all about, how their process is. Today we have a special episode. Some say he has one of the best 2022s of the year. He's a placement machine, working with Roddy Ricch, Rod Wave, A Boogie, Kodak, Ty Dolla, Nav, and many more. He's a part of a collective called 254 Sound, who's been familiar with the Where's the Cook Up Squad. They've done some sample challenges. But enough with the introduction. Let's all in the room make a round of applause for 254 Bodi. Bodi, what's going on, man?
Bro, I'm good, man. Good. Glad to be here.
Chilling. That's good. So if you want to give a little introduction about yourself, where you're from, let them know your name.
Man, I'm 254 Bodi, producer from Toronto, co-founder of 254 Sound. Yeah, man.
We got some of the homies in the room today too. We got Zoo Kids, Eljay's in here. Hell yeah. So we'll jump right into it. We got a lot of homies in the room today. Simple question. How'd you start producing? How'd you start getting into samples? Where did it all begin?
Man, honestly, like I've been into music. Like music's been a huge part of my life for like as far back as I can remember. Like I've always, been blown away by like how, music can provoke so many like emotions and how it can just the ways that music can make you feel.
Yep.
When you're listening to it. And, I started off playing guitar when I was pretty young. And then I think around when I was like 11 or 12, I started like teaching myself more guitar songs by like watching YouTube video.
For sure.
And then I kind of taught myself how to play keys a bit. And then when I graduated high school, I kind of got FL Studio for my 16th birthday.
Hell yeah.
Or 17th birthday.
Sick.
And yeah, and then like kind of from there, I just was like messing around with it for a few years, kind of getting to know the software. And then, things kind of just started picking up after a few years of doing it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've been like producing fully for like just under 8 years now.
Nice. Sick. And are you still on FL right now, or have you switched up the process?
Yeah, bro. So I will forever be loyal to FL. But now I kind of only use it for drums.
Okay.
Just because it just like FL, it just has a sound.
Yeah.
Especially for traps.
For sure.
I'll never abandon FL for drums, but I've now started making melodies in Ableton.
Yeah.
And kind of like dabbling with Logic a bit too.
For sure. All right. So a little good question. We'll start it off. We'll go into kind of more of a networking question, I guess. Like how for 2022, how did you land so many placements? Like what would be if you had to give up one secret of how your networking was to get that many placements, what would it be?
Honestly, there's not like one kind of answer to that, but like as I said, I've been like doing this for like just under 8 years now, so it's been like a really long time.
For sure.
Coming, and kind of last year was such a good year, and I think like one of the main reasons I was able to get so many placements was the fact that like I move around a lot. Like I do a lot of traveling. Like I'll go to LA a bunch, New York, Atlanta, and I just feel like getting in the room with other producers and with artists just like allows you to, build a real relationship.
For sure.
With them. And I feel like even, I feel like that in-person, like real genuine relationship, like will lead to, those producers like using your stuff more, like when you send stuff to them, like, they'll be looking out for your stuff versus like someone that's just reaching out on Instagram or, stuff like that.
For sure. And I know like right recently, I think it was your last placement you got, that was like your first one with drums, right? Like
that's my like first two big ones. Like,
so when you say you've been producing for 8 years, have you been like doing like more beats? Like, because I know you said you picked up the guitar to start. Are you like doing more beats for that period where you're not doing a lot of samples? You're more like working on your craft. Are you doing more beats? Or are you really still working on samples that whole time? Or did you really dive into samples like later on?
Yeah, I feel like when I started, I was always just making everything from scratch. And like when I started like around 2015, like using loops like wasn't really like a thing back then. And like in my mind at least, like I kind of always thought of like using another person's loop, like I kind of viewed that as cheating.
Okay.
Like in a way, like back, because it just like wasn't really a thing that people were doing back then. So I always cooked up from scratch. Like anytime I sat down at the computer, I was making the melody and then doing the drums.
Sick.
But definitely like in the past 4 years, I've really like been locked in on like doing the whole sample thing, just because it's such a great way to get your foot in the door in this industry. And like, you know, I'd say it's a good way to kind of build a sound and a name. But yeah, now that like I have, you know, now that I've been working with certain people for so long now that like I kind of have a relationship to where I can like, you know, start doing more beats and like doing drums and sending it to other people and like, you know, sending it to artists directly. So yeah, now I feel like I'm doing a bit more of both, but still always locked in on samples. Like that's like where I love.
It's like your bread and butter.
Yeah, and like when it comes to music, like melody is always been the thing that's kind of like drawn me in.
Okay, and then for like, what about, I guess, for anybody watching that's like really into samples right now, would you say just kind of like really focus in on your craft, or still have your foot in both doors where you're kind of still making beats? Like, I know for myself, like last few months I've been really focused on sampling, but it's always good to like still open up projects with drums and stuff.
Yeah.
Say, or would you still be
100%? Like you gotta stay on top of. I feel like you gotta stay on top of both. Like, you know, if you go a year or like if you go a few months without making a single beat, like without doing any drumming, like your drums are gonna go stale. You know, you're gonna fall out of touch with what sounds are like popping and like, you know what.
For sure.
Yeah, like I feel like it's always good to do both, but obviously if samples are working for you, it's good to prioritize that.
For sure.
But yeah, always good to stay on top of both.
For sure. Are you signed to anybody other than Eljay, or
No. Currently, no, I'm not signed at the moment. Like Eljay is my manager and the co-founder of 254 with me. But yeah, no, I don't have like a publishing deal.
And how do you feel about publishing deals at the moment, I guess, for yourself and like for other people? Are you shopping for publishing deals? Do you think publishing deals are worth it at the moment for you, or kind of like what you got yourself you can continue doing type of thing?
I think it totally depends on, like, right now, like I've had like some publishing conversations, and you know, I'm kind of just like, you know, following my gut. Like if it feels right, if the situation is like good, the terms are good, then you know, there's no reason not to do a deal. But like I feel like it's very like dependent on the situation.
For sure.
Yeah.
And going off what you said, because I feel like it's important, like following your gut. Has there ever been a situation where like you didn't follow your gut and it ended up like kind of screwing over, whether it be like certain percentage with a sample, letting someone else handle something?
I feel like when it comes to that stuff, like you gotta know your worth.
For sure.
But you also have to know your place.
For sure.
You know, you have to, like when it comes to like negotiating percentages and stuff like that, like if you're just getting started, you don't have many placements and you're working with like a bigger producer and they decide to use their stuff, like you're really in no position to be, you know, asking for crazy percentages or like a crazy advance or anything like that. Like I always feel like it's better to like, you know, you kind of got to like earn that percentage, you know, like.
And I feel like for you've had like a decent amount of like everything we've named 2022, all the credits and stuff, you have like your place to kind of start not being like push and shove, but like kind of saying, you know, I deserve this, I deserve that. At the beginning, were you, like you just said, at the beginning, were you more lenient, kind of just like more grateful for the opportunity and kind of?
For sure. And like I feel like that's how like you know, like I feel like that's how you should be as a producer getting their start, like with your first few placements. Like obviously don't like sign a horrible contract, you know, don't screw yourself.
For sure.
But at the same time, you don't want to like be asking for like an insane advance, you know, like a crazy advance when it's your first placement, you know, like it just like labels would literally laugh at you, you know, like it's just like, you really just have to know, like your place when you're like negotiating contracts and like working with other producers and stuff like that. But
for sure. All right, let's get into some of the production. They're the samples. So you have, what's the story behind the #1 Freak with Roddy Ricch and Ty Dolla $ign. How'd that come about?
So
Story with it?
yeah. So that sample I made with Zoo Kids and Adriano.
Okay.
And we made that sample when we were in LA last March.
Sweet.
And we had this really we had this sweet Airbnb with like this massive like garage with like arcade games and like projector. Like it was just like a sick little setup, and we went and rented speakers and like made a little studio in there. And I remember this would have been like the third day there, I think. And like the first 2 days, like we had a few like pretty big trap sessions.
Yep.
And I remember thinking, I was like, oh shit, like I don't really have like too many like trap loops, because I feel like we always make like super melodic stuff or like more poppy kind of.
Yeah.
And I remember like coming downstairs that morning and being like, oh, like we should probably make some like trap samples or whatever. And then I don't know. And then I just walked into the garage and Sash and Clark, Zoo Kids were sitting at the computer, and I was like, you know what? Like, let's just make a soul sample today. Like, not trying to make like some dark trap loop right now, you know. And then we sat down and knocked it out like pretty like honestly like pretty quickly. And it's like there's like a lot going on in that sample, you know.
Yeah.
It's not like we definitely like took our time with it, but it felt like a super like
sick
easy process. But yeah, but another crazy thing about that song was when I was in Atlanta in the fall, I was cooking up with Turbo. I had a session with him, and I like set aside kind of just like my like 10 like goated loops that I was gonna spin for him.
Yeah.
And whatever, that was the first one I played, and he's like, oh yo, I already
Really
did this one. Like I already did this one or whatever, because I was sounding.
Oh, he's already worked on it.
Yeah, because I send him everything, but I'm not sure, like, you know, I just don't know like what he uses. So so he was like, yeah, I already did this one. And I'm like, oh no way. And he's like, oh yeah, like I did this one with Roddy and like Ty Dolla $ign hopped on it. So I was just like, I was like, that was a super dope moment.
Damn.
But
and in a situation like that, so I guess just for like other producers, so like you're cooking up with him and you go to play the sample and he's like, oh, I already have that one. What happens after that? Like does he follow up with you on it beforehand?
Yeah, I heard about it. Like Roddy's team like reached out to me like before that, but before the song came out. But bro, honestly, at this point, like I've had so many songs fall through, like, and you know, every producer can relate to this.
Yeah.
Like you get like some crazy news about this like big placement, and then you're like waiting for it to come out, and then it gets cut.
Yeah.
And then you just like, that is like the worst feeling like ever. And it's happened to me so many times. So I've just like learned to like not even, when I get news about something, I don't think it's real until I see paperwork, you know, like,
yeah.
So yeah, but that was definitely because Turbo told me about that. And then I knew Roddy was dropping Feed the Streets 3. And then I was like, oh shit, I wonder if it's going to be on there. But like I said, I didn't have my hopes up at all. So
which is smart, which is definitely smart.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you said, there's a ridiculous amount of fall throughs, or like hear shit through like 4 different producers that this person used it, and you never know type of thing. So I guess not getting your hopes up and kind of just,
bro, like that's like some seriously like that's like some great advice for like young, especially like producers who are just getting started. Like, you know, a placement is not real until you're listening to it on Spotify. Like literally, like I've like, it's just happened so many times at this point. It's like such a horrible feeling to get your hopes up and like think that you're about to have a life-changing song, and then it just doesn't happen. It's like the worst.
Especially if you go around, I feel like another thing, especially if you're going around like telling people to.
Oh man,
it's even worse. It's even worse.
It's the worst. It's the worst.
Going on stories, why don't you tell us like about your first placement story? If you know which song that was, whether it be something big, something small. If you have a cool like first major placement story, then.
So like my first major placement was this song called Big Slimes that was on Thug and Chris Brown's collab album Slab B. And it was featuring Gunna and Lil Durk. So the story kind of behind that was I was cooking up with Sasha, one of the Zoo Kids. This was probably in like 2018. We were at like my first studio, like mine and Eljay's first studio.
For sure.
And we were putting a pack together for Ian Dior because one of our friends was like working on his project and he asked us for some stuff. And it's crazy because I feel like that was like even before like sending out loops was like really even a big thing.
Okay.
Like, but so we sat down to like cook this pack up of like kind of like punk, or not punk rock, but just like emotional guitar kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And then whatever we sent the pack, didn't hear anything about it, like whatever. And then like literally I think like a year later, I just randomly played the sample for Eljay.
Okay.
And he was like, yo, like this is like fire. And I like didn't think anything of it. No, I was like, what? This random thing I made a year ago? And he's like, yo, send that to me, like let me add some stuff to it. So then he added, like, went crazy on the vocals.
So, and then for everybody who doesn't know, you want to know, let them know who Eljay is, like.
Oh yeah, Eli Brown, God bless Eljay, big legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toronto GOAT.
So he played some vocals there?
Yeah, so he did some like vocals and like added a few other things, and then he sent it to Turbo, who he had met him I think in Toronto when Turbo was in town, and he sent it to him. Turbo made the beat, placed it, and then it was so crazy because the song came out in like right when COVID was kind of happening.
Okay.
Like it was like May 2020 I think.
Yeah.
So like COVID had been going on, like for like a few months. I was like, I was living downtown at the time, and I was with Eljay and my other roommate, and I'm just getting a FaceTime from Eljay, and like at this point, like I hadn't even like for that whole week, like I hadn't been cooking up, like I was feeling like so down, just because like there wasn't anything going on, everyone was like cooped up.
Yeah.
I was just feeling super down, and Eljay was calling me, and I almost didn't pick up the FaceTime because I was feeling so like low, like I was just like, oh, I don't even really want to talk to this guy right now. Whatever, I pick up, first thing he says is, yo, you got a lawyer? And I'm like, yo, what? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yo, you got a lawyer, bro. And I'm like, nah. What are you saying, man? He's like, yo, bro, we got one. And I thought like, bro, when he said Chris Brown and Young Thug, like I literally like I shot out of my like Eljay was there, like it was like the craziest feeling like ever, because bro, I had no placements at that time.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
So to go from like no placements to a song with Chris Brown, Thug, and Gunna, like bro, I was like that night was like one of my favorite nights of all time. Like it was crazy. Like we literally like went because it was COVID. Like we couldn't really like go anywhere. Like I lived in an apartment with like I had neighbors and shit, so we couldn't like blast the track. So we literally went to like a Loblaws parking lot in my car and just like blasted the song like at midnight when it came out, just losing our minds. Like that was just like the craziest feeling.
That's awesome. That's crazy. I didn't know your first placement was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I feel like you had some like traction before then. So that's crazy. So you're like, but going back leading into the next question, do you think having a team has helped you push your boundaries or your limits a bit?
Bro, like 100%. Like having like, like since we, it was founded by me and Eljay. Eljay's my manager and everyone's manager on 254.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, it's just like a management company collective that we started like a year and a half ago, some shit like that. So yeah,
sick.
But yeah, it's been going like great so far. Sick. It's been like super fun, like learning how to navigate this business and like learning how the business side of everything works, and yeah, it's been great. It's been amazing so far. Super grateful for all the guys on the team.
Yeah, and I think having a team definitely helps. Like with even a lot of people think like as a producer, oh, you shouldn't have like a team like an artist has, but I think like treating it the same way, having a team is definitely a huge like resource. Having them doing like little things that just allows you to focus more on the music, I guess.
Bro, 100%. And like that's like the best part about having management, and especially like having like someone like Eljay, like in my corner. Like I'm 100% of the time, like I would say like 90% of the time, I'm focused on the music.
Yeah.
And that's because the business side, the A&R side, all of that is like covered by Eljay. And, it just allows me to put like 100% of my like effort into into music versus like, you know, if you don't have a team, you don't have management, like you kind of you have to be a one-stop shop. You know, you have to deal with like labels, you have to deal with managers, you have to like send, you have to send like stuff out all the time. Like it just like allows you to, because you know the most important thing for me is the music. Like that's what it comes down to for me. Like I am just, you know, I'm trying to be the best producer that I can be, and you know, having a team in place has really like allowed me to, you know, strive to do that.
And I guess going off that, would you say kind of like not to be running to get management more? Like I feel like your management and your team is like very like genuine. You guys like,
Yeah,
it kind of just like, I don't know the story, but it seems like it kind of just formed together. It was like very genuine. It happened. It wasn't like you were like, Eljay, can you please be my manager type thing?
Yeah.
More like very genuine thing.
Yeah.
You say as a producer and having like a team, it should be very genuine, or
100%. Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, we were best friends before any of this, before 254 was a thing. And it's like knowing that you have someone in your corner that's going to like fight for you and like, you know, work, you know, just as hard as you're working, but on the like management side, is like, it's just like the best feeling for sure. Like I never like once will have doubted, you know, Eljay's intentions or like whether he's going hard enough. Like I know, like, you know,
they're always
we both want this shit. Yeah.
And I think that's definitely a good thing to go off. So I got a couple more questions here. If you had the choice, I don't know if you can, would you be a front flip person or a backflip type of person? That's a great question. I don't know what I would be, to be honest. That's a great question.
Definitely a backflip person.
Can you backflip?
I can backflip, like, bro, I used to be able to backflip on a snowboard, and like I used to, like, I could still do a backflip into like a pool or like.
Oh, sure, okay, yeah, but you couldn't just like stand up here.
No. Breaking my neck.
Yeah, that's funny. How do you feel about the whole 3+ people on a sample at the moment? Are you rocking with it? Do you not care at all? It is what it is. How do you feel?
Bro, honestly, like, you know, this question used to like it used to like get at me, like it used to like bother me like for some time, but like, because when I think of making music, it's just like I'm trying to make the best music possible.
For sure.
But with that being said, I understand why people are like against having 3 people on a sample, because when it comes down to the business, you know, if there's 3 people on the sample, 3 different managers, all like asking for different terms or like, you know, just acting kind of like out of pocket, then like it's going to make the person who drummed the sample look bad in the eyes of the artist team. So like for that reason, I understand that.
Okay,
but with that being said, in my case, I am 100% focused on making the best music possible.
For sure.
Making the best samples possible. And you know, collaboration is like so important for me, because I can play guitar and I can like sing into the mic and like finesse it, you know, and like kind of make it sound good.
Yeah.
But why would I play the guitar if Clark from Zoo Kids, you know, went to college for playing guitar? Like anything I play is going to sound 100 times better if he plays it.
Yeah.
And why am I going to sing when Sasha, who the other guy in Zoo Kids, can, like, you know, has a beautiful voice? Like, why, you know, like, so I prioritize the music, and you know, that's always, you know, I'm gonna continue to do that. And like, you know, I always cook up, like I have like a ton of samples with 3 people on it. I have placements with 3 people on the sample. And you know, if you listen to the music, it like makes sense why there's 3 people on it, you know, because it's like we're really like going in trying to make the best piece of music every time we make a sample.
For sure.
Yeah, but also like with the business side, like I have like a pretty close circle of people that I work with, and like I know everyone's moving straight on the business side. You know, if they're not under 254, they're like very close with us. And you know, if I have to tell someone like fall back on an advance because, you know, I'm not trying to look crazy in front of this person, then they're gonna do that, you know. And I know they're not gonna go and like, you know, get their manager to wild out on like, you know, on the label. So yeah, but it's very important to like know who you're doing business with and to make sure that everyone that you're working with is on the same page from a business standpoint.
For sure. And I think it's good to know that, because there'll be like industry people that'll say like, oh, every room you go in should have a split sheet before you even touch something. And then there's also like more chill people who are, it's like, okay, you don't need a split sheet if you kind of know who you're working with, and like everybody's respectful, like you said, like you know you're tight knit people. You don't need to be making people sign something before you walk into a room, but everything.
Yeah, like I don't think it needs to be that. I don't think it needs to be that serious, but like I would definitely be like mindful when you are working with a lot of people, like make sure that, you know, everyone's on the same page with how the business is going to be run. And, you know, like if you have a situation set up with a producer where you know that you're taking a set percentage every time, it's like, you know, you want to make sure that someone else isn't going to be like trying to go and like bump that percentage up like behind your back or some shit like that. You know, you want to like, whenever I'm working with someone, like no matter how many people are on the sample, like I'm breaking that bread down out of my side. You know, it's not going to like go into the other producer's cut.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is all good information for people that are just like kind of getting into like first placements, anything. There's a lot of like useful stuff. And then it also kind of wraps back to like 2 questions ago, like with all the stuff we've been talking about, how like useful it is to have a team and have
100%.
Like, when it comes 100%. To this, like you think about like how are you still making music when you have to deal with all this. That's why like definitely like having a team goes such a far way. So if you're sending out loops and do you know when to stop sending samples to someone? If someone's like, so for example, for myself, I get a lot of loops and I'll make beats, but personally, I don't send every single beat back to the loop maker. And like, are you expecting beats to come back to you when you're sending out samples? And then if not, is there a point where you're like, all right, hey, he hasn't sent back anything in like 2 months, I should stop sending samples to them? Or do you kind of just feel like you're just going to send it regardless?
I think everyone would like to receive beats back, but it's just not like that's just not really like how most people operate.
So you're still going to send them regardless?
Yeah, I'm still going to send them. Like I never get, like rarely do I get beats back from, like if I pull up on someone, then like, you know, they'll run beats sometimes like that off stuff that I've sent them, but like majority of the time, like don't expect beats back. Like, you know, like, and the only thing that you should have is email tracker to see if the person's opening up your emails. If they're opening up the emails, then just keep sending, you know, like that's like the best way to operate in my opinion. Like I literally send, like I remember like when Eli first connected me with Turbo after the Big Slimes placement, like for 8 months straight, I was just sending everything I made to him. Like just consistently, like just because I was cooking up all the time, and anytime I cook up, like when I would get like 5 samples or whatever, like, or however many I could fit in an email, like I'm sending off a pack. Because like you never know what would hit. And then like literally like 8 months after that happened, or 6 months after I got his email, we got the placement on Voice of the Heroes.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
they got said, any advice on building with local producers / approach to tapping with people further down the line professionally?
I think it's like so important to work with people that kind of like live close to you. Because getting in the room with people is like the most important thing in my mind, at least. Like I think like if you can show face and like show that you're like, and you know, build a real like in-person genuine relationship, that's gonna go so much further than like an online relationship. Even though you can have a strong online relationship with someone, it's just when you can actually like link someone, then it's like I feel like it just really strengthens the relationship a lot.
Where do you get your inspiration from for creating samples?
Honestly, just from the music that I'm listening to. Like that's like the biggest thing. Like I make like a lot of, you know, I really try and like emulate like production from like the 70s and like that, and like the 60s. Like that's kind of like and especially like I feel like at 254, like we really are always kind of on that wave, like kind of making like the soul sample vibes, like so I listen to a lot of that music. Like I'm always listening, like whenever I get in my car, like I'm always listening to like old records and stuff like that. But also like I also listen to like on the drum side, I also like, you know, I try and stay on top of like what's popping at the time, you know, like, and just like kind of get inspo there.
For sure. All right, I think that might be it for the interview section. So we'll get ready to kind of start shifting for the next part to open up some project files. So I think you're good to start grabbing your computer. You can get your setup while you're doing that. What's your favorite burner on a stove? And like, yo, I sounds crazy, but it's a great question. I'm a front bottom left. So if there's 4, I'm doing the bottom left for my eggs for sure. Eggs are always on the bottom left. What about you?
I'm bottom right.
Bottom right. I think my stove at my house, the bottom left, been used too much, so it's not as doesn't get as hot as fast. So I've been working in the bottom right one just to for a little bit more heat. But yeah, so Bodi's opening up some project files right now. He'll let us know in a minute which ones we're gonna open. All right, you can go ahead and introduce what you're gonna open up, what this was used for, all that sauce.
All right, so right here I have the project file for Number One Freak by Roddy Ricch featuring Ty Dolla Sign, produced by me, Zoo Kids, Adriano, and Turbo.
Sick.
And yeah, so I'm gonna just break this one down. I am cooking up in Ableton.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have everything I've done in like the past 2 years has been in Ableton, at least on the melody side.
So why don't you go ahead and play it from start to finish?
Start to finish? Yeah, for sure.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, so a couple questions we're asking. So the vocals are crazy on that.
Yeah.
Who did the vocals again?
So that's Zoo Kids. That's both of them.
Sick.
Both of them singing at the same time about 8 layers of Zoo Kids in there.
Sick. And a couple people were wondering, is there any processing on there? Is there like plugins on those vocals, or they're pretty dry?
Yeah. I just have like my basic vocal chain on here, but I don't even think I have like all of it turned on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just like compressor, 2 de-essers, auto-tune. Oh no, auto-tune's not even on. CLA vocals, Vala. Nothing crazy. And then and I did have, because this is a new computer and I don't have a Mac Apollo yet. I can't use the some of the plugins that I had on my old computer.
True.
So I just replaced the Ocean Way with a Valhalla, like room reverb.
Nice.
Some J37.
And, what do you have on their instruments in there? You have a bunch of guitar in that?
Yeah, like a bunch of there's kind of a lot going on in here. Should I just like play like?
You can go ahead and play section by section.
Play section.
Yes, go for whatever you feel like. If you explain it while you're playing.
Yeah. First, it started with this guitar, just like a pretty, like I kind of had this progression like tucked for a while prior to us making it, but like I just always thought it would be like a fire soul sample, but it's just this guitar layer. It's 2 layers, 2 layers panned, left and right. Yeah, nothing too crazy there. Just compression and an exciter on there. And then there's like this next layer here another layer of guitar. Yeah, just another layer, and again, nothing crazy on there. And then there is these, I guess they're like shots.
Okay.
I think, yeah, like kind of like these stabby reggae vibe shots. And we called the sample originally Whalers because it kind of reminded us of some like Bob Marley kind of vibe. But yeah, there's these those like shots.
Fire.
There's kind of a lot going on there, but.
And if anybody, while we're watching, while this project's open, if you guys have a question for this exact sample, now's the time. We can open up some plugins in that. But sorry, I'll let you continue.
For sure. And then, I'm not sure what layer this is. Oh yeah, this is actually a really cool layer, this like wah guitar. That's kind of like the main line that kind of happens throughout the whole song.
Yeah.
Or the whole sample. And then there's just this bass line here which Sasha played on an acoustic guitar, but we just pitched it down.
Sick.
Yeah, so we just pitched it down a whole octave, and it sounds really dope. Sounds like an upright bass.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I just put some R bass on there to
And how's that?
it up a bit.
And how's that recorded? iPhone or is that direct in?
No, I think it was DI. Yeah, it was a DI. Yeah, Clark has a really sweet Martin with like this great DI.
Sick. And what are going on that with like acoustics? Because I know like people are using it crazy. Would you say for acoustic you've been using iPhone recording a lot? Like,
No, not really. Like we have done that. We have done that, and it does have a cool sound. But I feel like nowadays we'll almost always record into a mic. Like we rarely even go DI anymore. We'll kind of always record it into just like a mic, like or like a cadet, whatever mic we have.
Yeah.
It definitely like iPhone recordings like have a cool sound to it and a cool vibe, but it's definitely better to, I feel like, have like a clean take, and then like if you want to like make it kind of sound like an iPhone recording, you can do that in the box.
Sick.
But yeah. And then yeah, we have these vocals here. Sash and Clark, the Zoo Kids themselves.
Crazy.
Yeah. Goats. Yeah, just creating like those vocals just sound
So I guess for that, like, are you when they're doing their vocals, are you asking them to do specific like type of harmonies? Are you just kind of giving them the mic, letting them both free for all? Because I know you guys have like, I think there's like at least 6 stacks there.
Yeah.
Are they doing like high pitch, low pitch, or are you just harmonizing at the same?
That one, they definitely came up with the line with
Sure.
they definitely came up with that. But it's like, yeah, we're especially like the three of us are like super meticulous when it comes to like making a sample. Like we're like picking apart each line that we do, and like, you know, in every like aspect of it, it's like a group kind of effort to like literally like the smallest aspect of it, you know, we'll be like picking apart and like really going in on it.
Sick.
Yeah. And then there's this other like turnaround vocal thing here as well. And so yeah, that's like the whole first section there.
Crazy.
And then
Yeah, the bass. I can't believe that bass is an acoustic.
I know, bro. It sounds crazy. Yeah, so Sash snapped on that. And then in this next section here, you have a few more layers. Oh yeah, this is so we also, Adrian brought his Prophet X to LA, and that's like, I think safe to say, all of our favorite synth. Like it's just so it's perfect for like making samples.
Yeah.
Just so it's so versatile. But yeah, this is a string sound that Adrian laid down in yeah, this sound, like this string really like ties the whole sample together. We got that. Another layer of guitar. And then some bells. Also from the Prophet X. Yeah, this is the whole next section. Yeah, that's all the parts right there. That's all the parts for that sample. For like the rest of it, we just kind of arranged it out and like took out just made different sections.
Sick. Someone's one person, Frisky's asking if you can run through the vocals individually, like the stacks.
Oh yeah.
Is that all right with
Oh yes. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with doing it. I don't know.
But yeah,
Here's the boys. I'll tell you which of the Zoo Kids this is. Oh, that's Clark for sure. So that's all Clark right there. And then this is Sasha. So doing a harmony.
And you have them panned super, like one super left, one right, yeah.
Yeah, so that's Sasha doing the harmony there.
Sick.
And then, yeah, all together with them. Just like so
sick.
Yeah, sounds just unreal. Super full.
And then one last question was from Golfwave. He says, what's on the guitar with the delay? Does that make sense?
Yes. The like shots thing. So we had some like really brick patch cables, so just had like a little noise suppressing plug-in on there, take out some of the buzz. Oh, nothing on the guitar. Nothing on the tool rack. I guess just an amp.
It's all right.
J37, H delay, and just a little bit of an EQ.
Sick.
But yeah, that's a key element right there.
Crazy. Yeah, crazy sample. Let's get a round of applause in here. All right, sick. We'll change the camera off your screen for a sec. Let's put it over here and let you open up the next one. Do you want to, while it's opening, just let them know what you're going to be opening here?
Yeah. So this next project it's going to be another Ableton file.
Sick.
Is Water Drowning Part 2 by Boogie featuring Kodak Black.
And how did this one come about?
So this one, I started the initial idea for this at my girl's cottage, which is like 2.5 hours outside of the city. But like I was just sitting at one of her tables there and just like hooking in the headphones. And it's funny because I was feeling like kind of like super uninspired. Like I was just feeling like all the drums I was doing were like super stale, and just I was using the same sounds and everything, and I was just like, okay, you know what, I gotta do something different here. Like this is like, you know, like I'm just like, I was like, bruh, I can't pull up like the hit one hi-hat anymore, you know, like I'm just like, I can't do that right now. So I was actually on Instagram Live on YouTube watching like just some producers cook up on Instagram Live. They're like play beats on Instagram Live, just getting the inspo, you know, just trying to hear something like new, exciting.
Yeah.
And then yeah, after that I kind of just started this initial idea. But yeah, I'll break down the sample here.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is actually crazy. Something I'll do sometimes is like I'll start a melody in FL.
Okay.
And then kind of get bored of it, and then be like, oh, like this is cool. Like I don't want to delete this, but like I don't really care about, like, you know, like how I'm not loving this.
Yeah.
So I'll just like make something, render it out, and then delete the FLP.
Crazy.
So I don't actually have the FLP where I made this like initial sound.
Oh, that's all right.
But this is kind of like the main sound in the sample. just like this crazy kind of like, like, and I know how, like, I ran, like, I must have played something, but I ran it through this, like, these, like, we have, like, at 254, we kind of have this, like, this one, like, the secret sauce plugin. We kind of keep on the tuck, but it, like, that basically makes things sound like that.
Crazy.
But yeah, I rendered that out and then brought it into here and just started building around it. So from there, I think I laid down this this pad or like these bells from Repro, which is like I think it's like a remake of like a Prophet or something like that. And then like from there, I added these two pad layers. Like pretty basic pad, but then like this the second layer in there too, just like really
fills it out
nicely. And then from there, I just added in these little like accent layers, just like a little vocal from Nami Pack, and then some other like little musical bit. I don't even think I put much on there. It's J37. Yeah, and then like a little texture layer.
Sick. Do you want to play it through full for a sec? Let's hear it like that. Great.
I just like pitched up that main thing for this layer.
Sick. And did you do the bass in that too? Did you guys? Was that
that was just a MIDI bass?
MIDI bass? Sounds sick.
Just like a kind of a random bass line. Now that I think.
A bunch of people are guessing what the secret plugin or what the secret pedal you guys
guess.
Someone guessed it was Portal.
Portal?
Yeah.
No. I will literally, like, if someone can guess it, I will, like, I don't even know. If someone could guess it and DM it to me. Is it a pedal or a plugin? I'll buy it for them.
Is it a pedal or a plugin?
It's a plugin.
All right.
Yeah. But if someone can guess the plugin and like DM it to me, I'll buy it for them. But yeah, that's a 254 friends and family secret right there.
We got Shaper Box. People are saying Cycles. A bunch of people are saying Cycle. No.
Yo, bro, it's funny because it's like not, the plugin's not meant to do what it's doing. You know, it's like one of those ones where like we just stumbled upon it and it's just crazy. But
Sick.
yeah, but yeah, so that's basically the whole sample right there. I did some like random like triplet kind of like bounce thing at the end that I didn't actually end up using when I came around to doing the beat. But
so did you?
That's the whole sample.
Did you do the beat on this one too?
Yeah, so I did this beat with S. Who's my homie, who's you know, been like big supporter of me like from, you know, for a while now. I met him in New York through my boy C.
Sick.
And he's like Boogie's like right hand producer.
Sick.
So me and him do a ton of work. So usually I'll have a bunch of ideas and then I'll go down to New York, lock in with Dot, and then we'll like fix up the beats and like, you know, he'll add some stuff to it and then he'll play them for Boogie. But yeah, so that's the whole sample right there.
All right, sick. So now we got a bit of time. Did you want to open another one or did you want to jump into the next section? It's up to you.
I may as well open up the sweet drums.
Oh yeah, sure, go for it. All right, sweet. It's pretty cool when you see like all the different layers and all the different harmony sections that go into like something like the vocals, for example. It seems like it's such a thin layer, but when you look into it with like all the stacks and stuff, it's pretty interesting. So this one you took over to FL for the drums?
Yeah, always.
Sick.
Always.
The
only time I'll do Ableton drums is if I'm doing some like pop stuff. Like that's like other than that, like anytime I'm doing trap, like always an FL.
Sick. All right, you tell us when you're ready and we'll put it back on.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. Sick.
All right, so this is the beat. Pretty like not too much going on here, but should I just play it?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like pretty much the beat, and then it just like loops, you know.
Thick.
Not really. Definitely got a little lazy with the structure there, but.
And is this the final beat that was played? Like, was anything changed on this beat or?
Yeah, well, so I brought like when I went down to New York, I like came down with the beat, and then me and Dot went in and like changed a bunch of stuff.
True.
There was like a lot. It was like pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
Like we like really like took back a bunch of stuff, added some new things.
Was the 808 the same as the when it dropped?
As when it dropped, yeah.
808's the same?
Yeah.
Someone said the 808 sounds different.
Yeah, but there's like a subtle like thing in here is, there's 2 different 808s in here, like randomly for like 4 bars. There's just like a different 808.
Oh, okay, sick.
It's pretty random, but like honestly it works, and like with the actual song it like sounds really fire. But
Sick.
yeah, so I'll just like go through the layers here. So yeah, I started off with this rim.
Yeah.
And layered it up, make it a bit more full, and then added some like random percussion, like I like did this like random little like reverse kick thing, like oh no, like you know, like it's just like random. No, like I said, I was like trying to do something different. Like, you know, I was just trying to like do some
for sure.
some different shit, but
And it fills it out for sure.
Yeah.
Those little things. And
yeah. And then yeah. And then from there there's like the kick and the hi-hat.
Sick.
Yeah, there the 808. And then yeah, for like this part I randomly did a different 808. But kinda just worked out, you know?
Yeah, it sounds sick. It sounds sick, yo. It's hard.
Yeah. Then it just switches back to the other 808.
Sick.
Yeah, that's like the whole beat.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for showing some of that. That's sick. All right, so I guess we'll get into the next segment. We're gonna hop on. We'll let you start opening up waves.com. We'll get into this segment. So we're gonna hop on to waves.com. Waves.com's our show partners. Once again, they're a sample-based library. You can find amazing samples. They have a really cool search engine. You can search by artist, genre, key, tempo. Bunch of cool sample packs on there. You can download stems. You can download the wave file. There's a lot of different artist packs on there. It's a really cool website. Definitely check them out. So Bodi's gonna hop on there now. I think his screen's open and ready to go. Bodi's gonna hop on there. He's gonna search through some samples. If anybody watching wants to do the same thing, download the same samples, tag him in the Where's the Cookup Discord. Bodi will check it out later. But yeah, so let's go ahead. Feel free to swift through. Feel free to search whatever you want.
Okay.
Let them know what you're searching.
Honestly, right now, like I'm still haven't decided whether I'm gonna do a sample or like I'm tempted to, like just get a vocal and like play some guitar around it, but
Could do that. Could do that. Ooh. These samples are pretty crazy though. Some of them sound
I
sick.
don't know, some of them are crazy, like super crazy. Like even these vocals are so hard. And that's honestly like one of my favorite ways to cook up. Like we have a vocalist. And 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Let's see how you do it. You got take your time. Take your time. Grabbing a guitar, go for it. If anybody is also keen to download the vocals and make a sample on top of it, go for it. We'll listen to it later. You're gonna be using Ableton for this one.
Bro, I'm not that good of a guitar player. I need the Ableton for. Okay.
Damn, someone said Canada has the hottest producers in the chat. Clark was smiling at me real big. Clark's like, I know.
But yeah, I'm good to go whenever.
All right, start it up. Okay, we're starting the timer right now.
You and I will be perfect. All that you and I will be perfect together. But you have me all together. But you have me so much better. But you have me so much that I had to leave you better.
You can keep doing your thing. You don't have to answer too deeply, but while you're working on this, just like quick answers. In Ableton, are you opening up a blank session every time? Do you use a template, or are you just opening up a blank session and starting from scratch?
Always from scratch.
Okay.
Probably could have a template, like that would make my life easier. I just haven't got around to it.
That I had to leave you. Girl, I thought that you and I would be perfect together. But you have me so much that I had to leave.
Do y'all use a different metronome in Ableton? I use this metronome. No? Do you guys use you guys can't hear. Bodi, you always use this metronome, no?
Yeah.
Someone said, I don't know why he's torturing himself with this. I use this one, I think. I think there is like a more tone, not like a more poppy one. It's more like subtle. But yeah, someone in the chat said, "What? This metronome scares me."
That's hilarious.
I don't know why bro is torturing himself with this metronome.
Yeah. Is it like booming through the headphones or something?
No, it's just there. I think there's another metronome that's just like a bit more subtle. It doesn't have that like pop to it.
Oh, true.
That's a bit, yeah. That reverb is really sick. What is that you just? Sorry for interrupting. That's
Guitar rig. It's Rome.
super sick.
Yeah, bro. Guitar rig is a goated plugin. That's like a desert island plugin for me, honestly.
All that you and I will be perfect together. But you have me so much that I had to leave you. All that you and I will that I had to leave you. All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to leave you. All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad.
Sounded sick. Okay. There we go.
That's what that NS1 plugin does. It just takes out all the.
Okay. Oh, okay, proper. You can hear it. So it's all yours. 10 minutes left.
Would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to leave you. All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to leave you. All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to leave you. All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to leave you. All
Crazy. Sounds sick.
All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to leave you. All that you had done, all that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to
And
leave you.
while you're cooking up, I've seen you cook up before, and I know you use it a lot. Do you want to just like talk about like the importance of like changing pitch and like getting creative with like different pitches and stuff? Because I feel like you do that a lot. You like to like stay creative and try different pitches while you're cooking up and stuff.
Bro, like I'm always like I feel like just different pitches can like you hear things differently at different pitches
For sure.
So I feel like it's always just fire to like play around with it, like see how certain things are sounding, how certain things are feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah, always like I feel like different. I feel like it's good to like constantly like be messing around with that.
Yeah.
All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to leave you. All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so bad that I had to leave you. All that you had done would be perfect together.
Right, sure. But
It's well Bodi's cooking up.
it was B minor, C sharp, or B major, C sharp minor, C sharp, A flat minor.
Well Bodi's cooking up. Just so everyone knows, you can get this sample and other ones, waves.com. If you use the code SpillsYourSauce, you get 50% off. Good little promo going on.
Me so bad that I had to leave you. All that you had done would be perfect together, but you hurt me so
Thank you, fam.
You had time.
I just want more guitar.
Can't get over that reverb. The reverb is so clean.
Yo, how much time I got on the timer? 4 minutes. When?
Tons of time. 4 minutes, give or take 10. Sounding crazy. Bass?
Oh, this is not fun.
Okay. Is that a bass? Yeah, let's do it.
Nah, I'll just play MIDI bass. Be easier. Oh, that's good now. All right. I'll add this one line. All right, that's pretty good. So as good as we get this vocal in the key of it's tripping me out. There we go.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Sound clean.
I might even just take that first part.
Fire.
All right.
Fire. Heck yeah. We'll do a round of applause. A little over 15 minutes, but not. Get some W's in the chat. Hell yeah, dude. So I got some people before we wrap up. Couple questions that I think be cool. ZZ Haynes said, "Do you have any practice routine with the guitar, or do you have anything they should be checking out?"
Bro, it's so funny because I just like don't consider myself like a good guitar player because I'm around like the Zoo Kid guys all the time, and they're both just like incredibly talented. So I'm kind of spoiled in the sense that they have like taught me so much.
Yep.
But like, there's not a day that goes by where I'm not like playing a guitar.
For sure.
And like I'm always putting in work, always practicing, always probably pissing LJ off because I'm just at their crib, just playing like with the guitar in my hand, but we're just chilling, just watching TV. I'll just always have a guitar in my head, just like messing around. But honestly, learn songs that you like, and like if it's a popular song, there's like a good chance that there's probably a tutorial on how to play it on YouTube.
Sick.
You can kind of like pick up like different chord shapes and different like progressions from learning other songs, and you can just like build up your own library.
Sick.
Kind of in your head, and then just
Hell yeah. And then one more from homie of the chat, Gemini Child. He was wondering, besides the guitar, what's essential to your production?
what's essential to my production? Vocals.
Vocals?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Always.
Hell yeah.
Like almost every sample that I make has vocals on it. So whether it's my vocals, Zoo Kids, Seth, for sure. Adrian will even get on the vocals time to time. Evergreen, like I love.
Does LJ ever hop on the vocals?
LJ, I don't know if he has it.
We gotta get LJ. We gotta get LJ.
We gotta get him on the. We gotta get LJ and you on the vocals one time, Jay, man. But yeah, they vocal. I just love the sound of like the human voice on samples. I think it's just so dope. So yeah,
sick.
My vocals.
But yeah, they all said it was a sick beat. A bunch of people loving the sound shifter at the end. One person just asked like what you put on the vocals there. I think it was just like kind of a pro art.
Oh yeah. No, that's a little ADG that I have on the tuck. Just just crunch time. Just through. I did not know how that was gonna sound coming out, but it turned out pretty nice. But it's just Alter Boy, reverb, and then it's just a side chain on Shaping Box.
Sick.
But yeah, it really kind of like sauced it up. Just quick down there.
Hell yeah. Well, before we wrap up here, I'm gonna get you to get that over here. I'll hand that to you. There you go. While you're signing it, someone's also wondering, how do you join 254? Do you got to sign your life away to LJ?
Yeah, you got to sign your life away to LJ. Yeah. No, honestly, you have to, with 254, it's obviously you have to be really good at what you do, but it comes down to the relationship before music for sure. Every time, if we can, sense that you're like a good, genuine person, fun to be around, that we'll take that over a talented like dad any day. So
for sure. Yeah. And that, I guess that goes too for everybody watching, just kind of just be yourself in rooms. Don't get in 100% and just be all weird all of a sudden.
Bro, people can tell when you're putting on a front or you're putting on an act. Like, just be yourself.
For sure.
That's like a huge thing.
Sick. So you got it there? Oh yeah. Do we want to?
Look, that's not the best penmanship.
I don't know if I can show it. Tell me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for everything. We got everything. Once again, huge shout out to waves.com. Hop on there, download all the samples you can. Spill your sauce for a 50% off code. Go download Bodi sample. Do you know what it was called by chance? What the name of that sample's called?
Hurt Me So Much. C minor.
So go down. Hurt Me So Much. C minor. Download it. Post it. And where's the cook up? Tag Bodi. Tag Waves. Tell everybody we'll listen to it. Try to make something better than Bodi. Other than that, I think we're all good. Do you have anything else you want to say? You want to plug anything where they should check you out? 254, all the ads.
I'll just check me out on Instagram. Check the boys out. Yeah, we're that's all I got to say.
That's all. All right. I think that's everything. All right. Look, big round of applause. Thank you again, Bodi.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
No worries. We'll see you guys next episode.